read this, Sergeant, and I suggest you do so in a loud, clear voice, so that even the most unlettered cannot fail to understand. Hear ye, hear ye.
Louder, General. That ain't loud and clear enough.
Read it again, Sergeant.
Be it known and published as of this day and this instant.
You heard the man, Sonny. Let her rip.
That all lands extending west from the Alleghenies to the Kentucky River are in fact owned by the Crown Colony of Virginia. That all private citizens claiming title to such lands are in fact trespassers, and as such, subject to prosecution. Be it also known that within 30 days of this proclamation, all trespassers on the aforementioned lands will move or be evicted.
Evicted?
With only such personal belongings as can be carried by said evictees.
That should be quite sufficient, Sergeant. They may read the rest of the particulars. You may hang the proclamation on yonder wall.
I don't think I'd do that if I were you. We're mighty touchy about having things hanging around. Excluding redcoats, of course.
This proclamation was signed by Lord Dunsmore, Governor General of Virginia. Defy him and you defy the Crown.
Well, General, I'll tell you what you can tell your governor.
Sergeant!
What's it, ready?
One does not tell a lord. He tells you. Now, the order is quite simple, really. You have 30 days to remove yourselves from Kentucky. If you fail to do so, you will be removed. I promise you. And the next time, I won't shoot to miss. Sergeant?
What is it? Guards, now!
No blue jay eggs. Well, what I was going to tell you is he lives in a cave over there. He's too old and too tough to eat, too mangy to skin. We've just been sitting here and staring at each other. If you thought to cut some willow, we could have made some whistles while we wait.
Yeah, so we're going to have to cut this wait short.
Trouble?
Yad's been shot. Some kind of difference with a British officer. He asked me to find you.
Bad?
Very bad. It seems they couldn't find a bandage large enough to cover Yad's vanity.
Well, this sitting match just turned into a foot race. After you. After you.
What you put in this, gunpowder?
Nope, just a little red pepper. It's good for your liver.
It ain't my liver that hurts.
Well, what does that mean?
Well, just what it says, Sparrow. Some folks up in Virginia claim we don't own this land. They say our title is no good.
If fighting off Injuns, clearing the land, raising cabins, sowing the crops ain't valid title for a chunk of land, and I don't know what is.
Just don't make sense, Daniel. You surveyed, conduct, filed claim for all of it.
And we got the papers to prove it.
A couple of drums and a lot of fancy words ain't gonna change that, governor or no governor.
I say we take our proclamation up to Virginia and dish it up Kentucky style for the governor's breakfast.
From the looks of that shoulder, Yadkin, you tried that once, and it didn't work too well.
Well, now, that was a sneaky shot he caught me when I wasn't looking. Him and his pipsqueak ragtail army, next time he shows his face...
Next time you might try using a little common sense instead of your rifle. Never heard anybody yet taking on the whole British Army and walking away with a whole skin.
What do you expect us to do, Daniel? Let them take what's ours, bought and paid for, right out from under us?
Yeah, ain't gonna do that.
Well, I expect you to use your head. Either this is a mistake or a flat-out lie. Either way, the law's going to do our fighting for us, not powder and shot. Starting a fight's probably just what this Lord Dunsmore wants. Lord who? Dunsmore. Must be a new crown appointment. Never heard of him. Now, I'll give him his proclamation back, all right. But I'll do it his way, without a fight.
Well, then you're going to need a second set of eyes in the back of your head. Them British with their sneaky shooting, they're worse than the Shawnee.
I could provide those eyes for you, Daniel. It's a long walk to Virginia, Mingo. Why? The title to Kentucky is not just your problem. Being the original landholders, the Cherokee have an interest in this. Besides, I think I would like to meet this Lord Dunsmore. Well, they're your legs, Mingo. When we get back, keep those rifles out of trouble. Oh, Cincinnatus, if any more British officers stop by...
I know, Daniel. Lock Yad up.
I still think we ought to all have gone with him.
Daniel can take care of himself.
Against an enemy he understands, he sure can, but... Oh, them British, you just can't trust them.
Kentucky, for centuries the dark, bloody land of the Indian nations. A land as capricious as a woman's smile, and as cruel as the painted savages who know it as Kentucky, the promised land. Kentucky, probably the most dangerous land in all the Americas, and perhaps the most beautiful.
If Kentucky is all of these things, sir, I fail to understand why the Crown has such an interest in it. From what I saw of it, I'd leave it to these ragtag rebels with my blessing.
These ragtag rebels, as you call them, tamed the same wilderness that destroyed General Braddock. And they did it with little else than their bare hands and raw courage. As for Kentucky's value, Major, I suggest that you listen to the first man to see its potential.
Don't worry, Sergeant. The governor will see us.
And unless I am sadly mistaken, he's about to make an entrance.
Oh. Now, please, sir, you know I've got to announce you.
You already have.
Sergeant, call out the guard.
That won't be necessary. Thank you, Sergeant. Captain Daniel Boone, I presume.
You'd be Lord Dunsmore.
I've been expecting you, sir, but not quite so soon. You must have traveled, day and night.
Nothing to worry about, gentlemen. He's a friend of mine.
This friend, does he have a name?
Caramingo. A name as old as the Cherokee Nation, and just as proud.
A man who takes pride in a borrowed name is without honor, without reason.
Correction. A man who won't reason is a fool. A man who can't reason is an object of pity. But a man who is afraid to reason is a titled Englishman.
Lord Dunsmore, I must protest. First, these people force their way in here, and then they dare to insult your person.
Relax, Major. Mingo here almost never takes scalps after dinner.
Captain Boone is right, Major. After all, how can there be a quarrel between strangers?
Well, that ain't hard, Governor. All you got to do is print a lot of long words on a pretty piece of paper, ordering a lot of nice people you've never seen before to get off the land they bought and paid for. Then sign it.
An unpleasant duty, Captain, but a necessary one. You see, the Crown owns Kentucky. Major. Your deeds, Captain, and the original transfer of ownership documents. all in order.
They were when they were filed, Governor.
With one minor exception, Captain. The Cherokee never did own Kentucky. Therefore, none of the subsequent titles are valid.
Lord Dunsmore, the Cherokee have called the lands of Kentucky sacred since long before England had a crown. You know that.
I know it. But the Colonial Congress of 1703 saw it differently. Signed by William Penn, you will note. To stop the incessant border warfare, Penn signed a treaty with the Tuscarora Indian Nation, granting them all the lands west of the Allegheny, bordered by the Ohio on the north and the Tennessee on the south. And that, sir, includes Kentucky. And, Captain Boone, that makes this the final and irrevocable treaty. Transfer of ownership document, signed by Tamen, the last living Royana of the Tuscaroras. Only last month, acting for the Crown, I purchased Kentucky from him. At a most reasonable figure, I might add.
It won't work, Dunsmore. Too many people have worked too hard and paid too high a price for 4 log cabin walls they call home in Kentucky. They won't walk away from it. No matter how many outdated transfers of title you come up with.
Mr. Boone, may I remind you of Article 7 in Lord Dunsmore's proclamation, that the eviction of said land shall be done by peaceful means or by force of arms. And I might add that I have 3 full regiments at my disposal.
That's all it takes, isn't it? 3 full regiments, the glorious thin red line of crown and country, and might becomes right. Why, Governor? Why is Kentucky and a handful of settlers so important?
Politics knows no sentiment, Captain, only practicality. There are dark clouds of disagreement hanging over us, the Crown versus colonies. If those differences should erupt into a clash, it is practical for the Crown to remove all threats at our back. And Kentucky, sir, is at our back.
That's your problem, Governor, not ours. What we've got, we're going to keep. And you just might mention that to those 3 full regiments of yours, Major.
Captain Boone. It is not me with whom you quarrel, but the weight of an empire. Defy it, and you will be trampled into the dust. You and your friend.
Well, we gotta put the blame where it belongs. After all, it was nobody but Daniel Boone that got us swindled.
Now, quiet down, all of you. Hollering ain't gonna settle this.
Just tell me how Daniel got a swindle when he didn't know a thing about it. You just tell me how he did it.
Well, we were swindled. What are we gonna do?
Well, that's just the first shot. Keep up this arguing, there's gonna be more. Maybe even at someone. Then what?
Ever since Daniel's been back, you all been sputtering like a flock of headless ducks.
Well, what do you want us to do? Pat him on the back for letting Dunsmore run us out of Kentucky?
We ain't run out yet, not by a long shot.
I say let's get on over into Virginia and bust old Dunsmore's mansion right on top of his head.
You do that and you'll do just what he wants. You're forcing the fight in old Dunsmore's backyard. Maybe he's outsmarted us and maybe he hasn't. Starting a shooting war on his terms is the best way I know to get licked. There's a better way. Use the time he's given us to fight back with the law.
Well, what law? Dunsmore got them all on his side.
Not all the law. If I can find old Timon and get him to testify before a magistrate, maybe Dunsmore's fake title won't hold up.
The Tuscarora don't take kindly to strangers. Getting Timon may cost more than you got to pay.
Well, that's a risk we'll have to take yet. Dunsmore's given us a month. There are 3 weeks left. Give me that time.
Time. Time was. Time shall be. Drain the glass. But where in time is now? It's gone, Daniel. Time and hope. It's one thing to fight a man, but it's something else again to fight an empire. And that's exactly what Lord Dunsmore is. An empire.
Mingo, don't you think you've had enough bear juice?
What's the matter, Cincinnatus? Are you afraid of being jailed for serving firewater to an Indian?
Mingo.
You'd better join me, Daniel. It makes being trampled into the dust a little less painful. And that is to be your fate. All of you.
It don't make much sense. Nailing down the coffin lid with no one inside, Mingo. Might be we're going to do a little trampling back.
Brave words can't breathe life into death. If the Tuscarora don't finish you, the eminent governor of Virginia will. After all, he promised you that. And an empire never breaks a promise.
Still have time to try it my way. If it doesn't work, Dunsmore's got a war on his hands on our terms.
All right, Daniel. 3 weeks. But if you ain't back by then.
Then we got a little empire busting to do.
Cincinnati, give me a drink.
Funny, I'd never known Mingo to run from a fight before. I'll take a drink for that matter.
Come in. Did you send for me, sir?
I did. You may close your mouth, Sergeant. The uniform has gotten a little tight, but not that tight.
Yes, sir.
I've got a mission for you. Possibly a very important mission.
Some action, I hope, sir.
Some action? I hope not. If I've judged Captain Boone correctly, he'll try to stop me with legal weapons before he resorts to powder and shot. That means he will try to reach men to contest our recently acquired land title. To do that, he will have to cross the Cumberland Trace. Be sure that trace is closed.
For how long, sir?
If Captain Boone were detained for, well, say 3 weeks, our problem in Kentucky would be much easier resolved. Clear?
Like a window, sir.
Major, Kentucky is not the Plains of Abraham, and Captain Boone is not an opponent easily dispatched.
Nor am I, sir.
Sergeant, you may bring up my horse.
Your horse, sir?
You don't expect me to walk to Kentucky, do you?
Kentucky. But the settlers.
Why else do you suppose I would put on this infernal uniform if not to impress someone? Not even a Kentuckian would fire on such a brilliant symbol of crown and empire.
But, sir, I mean, why?
Have you ever heard of Samson?
Yes, sir. Strongest man in the world.
And how he was finally destroyed?
Yes, sir. He got a haircut.
And how did he get this haircut?
Way it always happens, sir. Lady Delilah, sir.
That's why I'm going to Kentucky, to find a Delilah.
Mom! Gotta be trouble. Bad trouble. Riding a horse and wearing a sword.
Trouble? Rides a horse.
And usually wears a uniform, I'm afraid, but in this case, it's too tired to do much damage. My horse and I are not quite up to your wilderness trails.
Fetch Pa's rifle, quick.
Have I the honor to be addressing Mrs. Rebecca Boone?
You have?
Lord Dunsmore at your service.
The governor of Virginia?
Guilty. But I assure you, Mrs. Boone, you will have no need for that weapon. May I come in?
You're already in.
Lack of manners, young man, is one of the privileges of title. A most pleasant home, Mrs. Boone.
Well, it was. Till we were told it wasn't ours. Till we were told that in 3 weeks. We had to turn our backs on what took 3 years to build.
Mom, you're mad at him, not me.
Your son is right, Mrs. Boone. Striking out is not going to settle our differences. Actually, that is why I am here, to settle our differences. I've even brought along a peace offering. Snared them myself this morning.
Our Lord, snaring rabbits.
And this lord could just possibly clean them, if he could find someone else to finish the task. Rabbit stew. Huh. A dish fit only for the gods.
To see the governor of Virginia cleaning rabbits? It might just be worth it.
Ah, a dish fit only for the gods. Truly a repast sublime. A feast of the angels.
And after that third helping, a night of indigestion.
My stomach and I are in complete agreement, Mrs. Boone. It was worth it.
There's more.
For me, perhaps, but for my uniform, never. I have enough trouble as it is getting this jacket buttoned.
If you're a general, why don't you carry a gun?
A reminder, Israel. A general should always remember that battles are won by guile, not by gunpowder.
And that's why you're here, isn't it? To win your battle.
In battle, Mrs. Boone, there is never victory, only compromise.
These lands are ours, Governor. There's nothing to compromise.
Yes, so your husband informed me emphatically. So I've decided it is for me to bend, to make concessions that will end our differences.
Concessions?
For all the families in Kentucky who will submit peacefully to the will of the Crown, I am prepared to offer 25 pounds for their claims and a clear title to a quarter section in the Shenandoah Valley.
We don't want your generosity, Governor, and we don't need your charity. We want only what we've earned and what is rightfully ours.
Think about it, Mrs. Boone. You're a wife and a mother. Think what war between the settlers and the Crown can mean.
We know what war can mean, Governor. We know all too well. We live with it every day.
If thine enemy hunger, feed him. If he thirst, give him drink. For in so doing, thou shalt heap coals of fire on his head. At this moment, my head is uncomfortably warm. You make a most formidable enemy, Mrs. Boone.
As Daniel says, Governor, a man can't be too careful in his choice of enemies.
Or his friends. The choice is yours, my dear.
We're in Tuscarora country.
Hold it. We're here to talk, not to fight.
Well, tell them, not me.
Maybe we ought to wait till they feel a little friendlier. Let's go.
On the ground, here I lie, face to earth, while I cry. Hear my cry, O mother mine. Hear my cry, O mother mine. On the ground, here I lie, face to earth, while I cry. Hear my cry, O mother mine. Hear my cry, O mother mine.
I had forgotten how sad that melody is. The Cherokee Song of Death.
Every
Untitled Englishman, you move quietly enough.
You forget this was once a lord's castle.
I've forgotten nothing.
And it shouldn't surprise you to find me here. These are my ashes, my memories. Tolota, singing wind. Even her name was beautiful.
Can it be the eminent Lord Dunsmore trying to resurrect a cemetery of forgotten yesterdays?
A cemetery, yes. But not forgotten, Mingo. Not forgotten.
What do you want?
An answer. What was here could not have sown the seeds of bitterness between us. What did?
You look at me, a Cherokee warrior, and you can't see the truth?
I look at you and I see only Tolota's son. My son. I see what was and what might have been. But she died, and there was nothing left for me but my duty to the crown. I was an officer, Mingo, here only to survey. I had to go back.
So you took me, a Cherokee boy, not yet a man.
You were my son.
I was your shame. A savage fit only for the back alleys of that jungle you called London.
The fault lies not in our stars, but in ourselves, for we are underlings. You were my son. I drove you because of that, not in spite of that. I drove you because I wanted you and the world to forget that you were part Cherokee and to accept the next Lord Dunsmore. Perhaps I drove too hard. Perhaps I was wrong. For that, I am sorry. The title is still there, Mingo. A heritage of centuries. You have only to claim it.
I have only one heritage. The one she left me. No, your England is for Englishmen, not Cherokee.
And Kentucky, is that only for Englishmen? Mingo, if war should come between the crown and the colonies, it will end. And when it does, this wilderness will give birth to a new empire. When it does, it will need a strong hand to guide it. A hand that understands the Indian.
And Virginia's Governor General.
Whatever else is between us, we understand each other. That's one heritage neither of us can deny. Think about it, Mingo. Think about a new Kentucky, big enough for both of us.
For a few minutes talk. Which is going to be?
Dog cannot kill. I will listen. Always figured you for a reasonable man, Tammin.
Daniel Boone.
Just been admiring your art collection. Hope you don't mind. Yeah, you better cover flat.
Oh, nothing's going to cover them engines. They find out we're in here. Make it quick, Tammin.
To draw a knife in the lodge of Tammin is to take death by the hand, Daniel Boone. Why?
I'm afraid your warriors didn't give me much choice. You should speak to them about hospitality.
Once the Tuscarora were a strong people. Once we welcomed strangers, but they brought disease, destruction, death. What is here is all that is left of a once mighty people. This time, no man will steal away what is left of our lives.
Oh, that'll rob an empty grave, Tammin. I'm afraid that's what your people are. An empty grave. A bright red coat, a few worthless trinkets, and a cheap likeness of a king you'll never know. You've traded the honor of the Tuscarora. And without honor, there can be no life. Only an empty grave.
I traded nothing.
Because you had nothing to trade. Only a lie. You gave away the ancient lands of the Cherokee. And because of that, men will die and women will tear out their hair.
It will not be our war.
No. Not at first. But in time, all the nations will be pulled into it. Then they will punish the Tuscarora. Then they will walk on your grave. They will be ashamed. Go on, Tannen. Call your warriors. Let them see your dishonor. Either that or come with us to the white man's world and tell them about the lie. Tell them there's still honor among the Tuscarora. What will it be, Tannen? Your shame? Or your honor?
This is high price to pay for honor. How much further to this village you call Salem?
Not much farther than your eyes can see, Tannen. Should be there before dark.
Good afternoon, gentlemen.
That sneaky, shooting tin soldier. I knew I'd get him alone someday. He's mine, Daniel. You lost, General?
A British officer never gets lost. I suggest you drop your firearms where you are.
I'm glad to. Just as soon as I wrap the barrel around your neck.
Shame. And I've been instructed to avoid bloodshed, too. Corporal? Well, perhaps you gentlemen will be more inclined to drop your arms. Possibly you'd like a little more encouragement. As you were. Sorry about the bonds, but during the night, a necessary precaution, I'm afraid.
Aren't you jumping the gun, Major? Seems to me our little war wasn't supposed to start for a couple of weeks.
A necessary expediency, Boone. Lord Dunsmore merely wanted a little added insurance to make certain his orders were carried out as painlessly as possible.
Like I said, Daniel, just not to be trusted.
Between your grandfather and my people are words of peace. I wear the red coat, you wear the red coat, yet I'm your prisoner. Why?
It's the company you keep, old man. Until our affairs are settled in Kentucky, you'll just have to consider yourself my guest. Sorry. Oh, by the way, my men have orders to shoot to kill. Now, whether they carry that order out depends entirely on your good manners.
Manners? How you ever get that sword-toting, sneaky-shooting, gold-braided son of the crown alone?
Decided this wasn't your fight. Sitting on the fence can be uncomfortable. Besides, my father changed my mind. Your father, Lord Dunsmore.
The governor of Virginia, your father?
I didn't have much choice in the matter yet. It does explain a few things. Oh, there's more. I've been to Chinote, the Cherokee Council of Elders. I found another old William Penn title. This one made with the Cherokee. For Virginia. Damn it. Looks like you won't have to take your long walk after all. Come on.
Really, Mr. Boone. But you'll have to do something about your manners. Corporal! This happens again, you'll lose your rank. Now bind them and make certain they stay that way.
They try it and they'll have one dead general to step over.
Appears to me we've got a little, standoff.
Hardly, Mr. Boone. I still have this.
2 shots, 2 dead men. Might be there's a simpler way to go about this.
In what way?
That sword you're packing around. You seem to be pretty proud of it. I used to be handy with one myself a while back.
Really, Mr. Boone, I'm not in the habit of dueling with backwoodsmen.
Fair enough. I'll tie one hand behind my back. Of course, if you haven't got the stomach for it.
Delighted. You've just given me the only possible reason for disobeying orders. Corporal, give this man your sword. Now we shall see who has the proper amount of stomach.
Daniel, you ain't touched a sword since the French War.
I'm handy enough to keep him busy long enough.
Long enough?
Long enough for you and Yad to take care of those soldier boys.
I must warn you, Mr. Boone. I have been regimental champion for 3 years running. But for you, I promise only my best. Excellent, Mr. Boone. You've discovered which end is which. Now begins your lesson in proper manners. Last lesson, Mr. Boone. Lose your sword and lose your life.
Best to you, Major.
Drop your weapons, soldiers.
Sorry about your rank, Corporal. Yeah, get Cincinnatus and the others. They talked about taking Dunsmore's mansion apart. So why not help them?
Why not?
Come in here.
This ought to do real well, Yad. Knock out a wall or two. Should accommodate a Cherokee war dance.
War dance? Captain Boone, just what do you think you are doing?
I don't know, Daniel. This room fits better for the livestock. Let's get to work.
Livestock? Livestock? Captain Titan, call out the guard. I want this room cleared at once.
Morning, Governor. No sense in calling you guard. We gave him leave. Yad, you may have a point. Cows could stay nice and warm in here.
We'll set the bar up over there. Gotta keep it close to the window, though. That bear lights might get you when I get
What happened to you?
Well, it has something to do with being bested by one's equal.
Captain Boone, will you please tell me just what is going on here?
Glad to, Governor. When William Penn signed the treaty with the Tuscarora, he had to sign one with the Cherokee just to keep him happy. That's right. He gave him Virginia. And we just bought that title from the Cherokee.
At a most reasonable price, I might add.
You did this?
You told me to think about a Kentucky large enough for the Crown, the Cherokee, and the settlers. I was only being an obedient son.
Look at it this way, Governor. Now you have the choice to make, enemy or friend.
Well, do I start tearing up titles, or do we keep right on moving in?
You win, Captain. Kentucky is all yours. But on one condition. Hold it, men. You pour the drinks, and I'll tear up the title.
Pleasure, Your Lordship.
Daniel Boone was a man, yes, a big man, with an eye like an eagle and as tall as a mountain was he. From the coonskin cap on the top of Boone Dan to the heel of his rawhide shoe, the ripperest, roaringest, fightingest man the frontier ever knew. Daniel Boone was a man, yes, dream come true? What a boom, what a doer, what a dream come true was he.